Alrighty then, I have been asked by someone on Furfinity to basically do a guide on how to make feet and a basic rough out of the head for someone who's looking to make their own fursuit. I did a fursuit panel at MFM and didn't get it video recorded and wasn't too organized, but let's begin. I'm going to begin with the feet now, and the guy has a 20 by 20 by 4 inch block of foam. Now, as you can see here with this upside down tape measure, I've marked out about 20 inches on this piece of foam. It's not 4 inches thick, it's 1 inch, and 20 inches on the upside. So we have a 20 inch square piece of foam, and let's use imagination and just say this thing is 4 inches thick. Now, feet paws. What you're going to want to do is have a basic design in mind. He wants to do a dragon, and so they're pretty much going to be clawy and distinctive toes on them. So now what you're going to do is you take a shoe, whatever you're going to wear for the base, and what you do is you take and you put it on the foam and take a look at it. You may have to do some fiddling with the design, figure out what you're going to put where, and as we can see, 20 inches really isn't that big. Probably shouldn't be used for feet paws, but we can go ahead and try anyway. Now, what we're going to do is, let's just put this right here. You're going to have to fiddle with the pattern. Now, take a Sharpie marker, also known as the drunk companion's friend. Use to draw on your friends. Trace around the outline of the shoe. And now we have your shoe. Okay, so this is what your shoe is going to fit into. And if it's 4 inches thick, you're going to have to do some hollowing out. From here, we decide, okay, let's go, say, a little bit, an inch out. Looks really horrible. Okay, now you have your shoe pattern inside your outer foot. Now you're going to want to do some fine tuning, make sure all these lines are equal. You can tell here they're horrible. So, you have the front and you have the rear. From there, let's put some dragon toes on there. Make them look a bit crux-like. Just go like that. Now, because this foam is not 4 inches thick, and I'm not going to be cutting on it, I'm just going to basically run you through what you'll do next. So, we have the dragon here, dragon feet, we have the space for the shoe, and we have the outside. So, you take your scissors, or if you want to commit suicide, you can use scissors. I usually use an electric knife. Take the electric knife and just go along the edges, and then you'll end up with a block of foam 4 inches thick that looks like this. Now, for illustration purposes, we have our block of foam that is 4 inches thick. Not really, but... and here's the shoe inside. It's a horrible shoe. You could probably pick a pair up that look like that at Walmart. So, then you're going to go and you're going to say, okay, my toes go like this. I'm going to make the lines a little bit bold. So now you have your foot pattern, and you're going to do that, and the largest toe is going to be forward, and then we add a smaller toe here. Later on claws will be added, but we're not going to worry about that right now. From there, you want to carve and whittle your way down until you get a decent looking paw, however you want to do it with a dragon. And I have some meerkat paws here. Let's go ahead and take a look at those. And it was basically the same design. I have a cheap Walmart shoe that lowers your IQ when you wear them. It's guaranteed. And then I basically took it with the foam, I went and I cut it, and if I fold the fur in, you can see where the foam is. So basically, you have your pattern right here over the top, and then you want to define the toes. They're not too defined on the meerkat, but basically, come in, round off all your edges, or leave them sort of angular or spiky, whichever way you want. You can add claws on later before you fur, and then make a pattern out of it. what I basically did was I just took fur, laid it down on the top, glued it, made a little cut with a razor, sewed it together to make the back. You can see the seam there, and then added some onto the top. You can stop right here so it conforms to the shoe, and then when you get up, you can just basically cut a piece of fur with the fur going down, and you can just sew around the edge. You can extend this by sewing around the edge here. You can see some of the hand stitching. And from there, basically, this is your first time, just figure out as you go, it probably will suck. Okay, the head, he has a piece of 15 by 15 by 15 inch cube block. Now, I don't have one of those, nor am I willing to make one, so let's go over with a drawing. And I've never drawn a dragon, so this is going to suck. Right now, we have the 15 by 15 inch cube. The camera will focus. And what you're going to do is take a marker, and on one side, draw your little dragon head. And obviously, with a 15 inch cube, you're going to have a little bit of overlay here. What you're going to do is eventually you're going to take a piece of the scrap when you're finished, size it down, and then just hot glue it on the front. Now, this is the front of it. I drew horns on here. Obviously, the horns aren't going to work. Front of the block, basically, so you have the side of your head right here, and then the front over here. It's going to look horrible. Cut it out, and I've never used the giant foam block technique. I figure you'd have to go through, and after you get the size roughly approximated, you turn it over basically on the bottom portion, and you will cut out the head, make it comfortable, cut out your eyes, and carve and shape from there. Now what I use is the toaster head method, and what I've illustrated here is we have your block of foam. You take it, cut it into lines, and you go and you take your head, little Cro-Magnon man here, and you basically make what, like an old-time toaster, a little curve up over here, and you're going to do that twice, so you have a right and left side. Then you're going to measure from the extreme outside of your face, basically on this illustration here, right there to right there, basically the size of your face, your cheek. Measure that, and then you want to cut a longer piece of foam. You're probably going to have to glue it together with hot glue here or somewhere else. Then basically you just take this long piece of foam, start working at the bottom, glue your way all the way up until you have that. Then you put it on your head, as seen here, and you basically take a permanent marker, push in where your eye would be, just mark a dot, do it the other eye, then your mouth, you can mark a slit, cut those out, to size. Now, I do have a toaster head right here. You can see the basic toaster head design already shaped. It goes along right in here. And then you're just going to want to take pieces of foam. You can see the seam lines right here. Take your pieces of foam, glue them together, then with your knife or your scissors, if you want to commit suicide again, basically just shape it. Started out as a giant block, and it's not a block anymore. You can tell it's somewhat of a lion. Looks like it's got a Cro-Magnon face itself. And then you just add ears, or in his case, horns. You can take little 1/4 inch pieces of foam he's probably going to need to buy, or just sculpt them out from the chunks from the big 15 by 15. Just take a block, decide what you want it to do, swoop up or swoop down. Then from there, glue everything together, get everything shaped out. Then you can go ahead and start putting fur on it. From there, you're going to wind up with a furred head, eventually. With the magic of film, or just sleight of hand, you can see here, this is furred head, this is a meerkat. Now, if you look close, you can see seams all along, eyes and everything. Those will probably be covered later. So, go ahead and take your block of foam, draw on it with your magic marker, drunk man's friend, and start cutting. And remember, if this is your first head, it will suck. So just keep practicing. You can, with foam is good. If you cut off too much, you can always glue more on. And there you have it.